Namaste. Welcome to you all on this ongoing celebration of Ramanavami. Today is the third day that we are having these special sessions to celebrate Ramanavami, and today we have a combination of some talks, discussions, followed by some devotional music rendered live by Bismita, and also some recordings and videos. So we'll start with the individual presentations first. Today we have three speakers, and our first speaker is Dr. Beloo Mehra. The subject of her talk is Ram Katha, a living tradition. Dr. Mehra is the director of BhāratShakti and editor of our monthly journal Renaissance. She has a PhD in education from the University of Illinois and a master's in economics from Delhi School of Economics. She has more than 2 decades of experience in designing curricula, teaching, researching, and guiding research scholars. She has also taught postgraduate courses and conducted workshops on several aspects of Sri Aurobindo's vision in Pondicherry University. Having deep interest in Sri Aurobindo's and Mother's vision and work on integral education, Indian culture, yoga, and spirituality, she writes regularly in various journals dedicated to Sri Aurobindo's vision and works. She is invited frequently for talks and workshops at seminars and conferences at universities and Sri Aurobindo centers and other organizations on topics related to education, culture, society, and self-development in the light of Sri Aurobindo. So now I would invite Beloo to give her presentation. Ram Katha, a living tradition. Beloo.
Unmute. Beloo, unmute.
Oh, yes, good. So when I am not leading the session, then I'm more relaxed. I forget. So, but anyway, thank you, Narendra ji, for the introduction, and thank you for taking the anchors today for doing the whole anchoring thing. So Ram Katha, I mean, it's been, first of all, मैंने namaste तो कहा, but I've been meaning to say this for last 2 days. Ram Ram, that is the way to greet in the part of India where I come from, northern India. Ram Ram is the greeting. So especially today, Ramanavami day. So Ram Katha, the topic, don't go by what the topic says, Ram Katha, a living tradition. I just want to focus on 2-3 aspects of it. How it is a living tradition and how it has been kept alive through arts. That's the focus I want to take. And I just want to show a few examples across India so that we have a sense of that this is also how Sri Aurobindo says Ramayana has been, and even Mahabharata. I mean, they both have been used also as a way to unite the, on a Sanskritic level, on a cultural level, the very distant regions of India. That's why we have, Rameshwaram and so many people in southern India with names related to Ram and things like that. And right from Kashmir to Rameshwaram to Dhanushkoti onwards. So up to Sri Lanka. So this is the idea, how it has been kept as a living tradition. So first of all, Sri Aurobindo speaks of Rama as the avatar of Sattwik mind, the one who is, and like all avatars, he has come to give a new dharma, which is the dharma related to or relevant to the aspect of Sattwik mind. So we saw maybe in some of the presentations earlier that he was here to help humanity see how important it is to establish an order within and an order outside, a Sattwik order of harmonious mental, emotional, moral parts of the being. So Sri Aurobindo insists, was acting. Whatever choices he made was choices based on his dharma as a prince, as a brother, as all the roles that he was playing in, but they were also aligned with the dharma of the age, dharma of the jati in which he was born or in which he was working, the Kshatriya, the Kshatriya dharma that he was fulfilling. And also the dharma that was suitable, appropriate for the kula. So there is the kula, the Raghukul Vansha, and the Yuga, the Yug Dharma. But then when we read Ramayan closely or Ramayan's versions closely, we find that so many times he also pushes the Dharma. He also goes beyond what was the norm and he establishes a new Dharma. For example, somebody pointed out, I think the other day, about Ek Patni Vrat, right? That was a new thing that he had, new norm that he had established, pushing beyond what was acceptable in the Kshatriya Dharma to have many wives. So it's choices like these, it's decisions like these that have made him such an endearing and almost like timeless character that people can connect with these kinds of choices and these kinds of decision-making process. I have been very fascinated by a 2-volume Hindi adaptation of, or Hindi retelling rather, of Ramayana written from a completely rational mind by an well-known Hindi author. I think he was a Padma Shri also, but he's no longer living. Dr. Narendra Kohli from Delhi University. He had written a novel called Abhyuday, and he totally explains Ram's choices from a totally rational perspective. Why he makes certain choices, whether it is killing of the Bali or anything like that. So that's the thing, that's how one of the ways this Ram Katha's tradition has been kept alive is through retellings in literature. And we saw a few examples from an experiential level also, what Rajeshwari Di was sharing, and also from what Lakshmi Jyoti was sharing in terms of how in Telugu literature, the idea of Ram Katha has been taken over, by Molla and given new turns, given new twists. Another aspect through which Ram Katha has been kept alive is through painting. So there are schools of painting in India rather, which have totally dedicated themselves to illustrating or portraying everything from the Ramayana in different paintings. So we've had tradition of illustrated Ramayana, we've had traditions of miniature schools, of painting, taking episodes from Ramayana. There is a Mewar illustrated Ramayana. All miniature schools have had this thing. But I recently came across something very new, and I wanted to bring these two in my show and tell. I don't know if it is coming clearly or not. But I'll just read it out. This is the illustrated Ramayana, the timeless epic of duty, love, and redemption. So what they have done is they've taken the old paintings. They have not done many new paintings. They have, just sort of, the new thing is the digital stuff that they have done. So here you have the text and then you have the paintings. So I'll just flip few pages like that, right? So the entire Valmiki Ramayana, they've made this into a new illustrated. But when you see the old illustrated books, you can get them from like National Museum, folios. The paintings that were done for the illustrated versions, they are now being sold as folios, or they're being preserved by these museums. That's very fascinating to go through those things. And I have few which I didn't bring here today because I wanted to highlight something else I've recently discovered. So Valmiki Ramayana, yes, has been, that's the seed, that's the source. But in India, we've also had a tradition of, illustrating, at least this is something new I discovered 2 years ago, there has been a tradition of illustrating Tulsidas's Ramcharitmanas also. So Ramcharitmanas was written in 16th century, end of 15th, 16th century. About 2 centuries later, the Maharaja of Banaras hired, I think within a year or two after he becomes, and his name was Udit Narayan. He hired hundreds of painters and scribes to create the best possible ever illustrated Ramcharitmanas. So it first came out in 7 volumes. It took them about 16 years to finish that work. It took them, like the 7 volumes were about 1,1100 pages, something like that, 1,100 pages. Each of the Ramcharitmanas Kand was, selected verses were scribed, were written, and the paintings were done. And I first saw them at Bangalore, at the Museum of Art and Photography. Before that, I did not even know about this. And they have come out with a book. They did an exhibition, which I obviously did not know, but they have come out with a book, which they are now selling. So this is called the Book of Gold. Why? Because painters were asked to use a lot of gold. So they said this is like the Kanchan edition of Ramcharitmanas. That's what the name was, the Kanchan Granth, the Kanchan Ramcharitmanas. And I just want to show one example. This is how the entire, they say about 500 to 700 paintings were there. Look at the detail. Look at this details of this work. This is how it is. And I want to show how the whole 7 volumes might have looked. One side text and one side illustrated, the painting. And then you have these gold borders, which makes it the Book of Gold, the Kanchan Kavya, right? So the Kanchan Granth Ramcharitmanas. Apparently, there have been other illustrated Ramcharitmanas as well. But I've been slowly, because it's so precious, well, it's also very expensive, but I just felt like it's a good investment and it's a good way to support. This is the only museum that went in search of those paintings. And they have, their display is very nice. They are not, because the originals are so fragile, so they have digitized them and they keep rotating in digital panels. So you just stand there and you can look at every detail, and spend time there. This is how, using modern technology, such beautiful old works of Ram Katha are again being made available, being preserved, and being, more and more people are coming to know this. So in our culture, we have always had this idea of why, because Ram Katha has to go everywhere. So at one point of time, there were these ballads, kathakars. They would go from place to place, telling the story of Ram, because the idea of, how to make right choices, how to conduct oneself, dharma, teaching of dharma was important to each and every level, each and every, no marginalized person should be, everyone should have the opportunity to learn from these things. That's why these things were done. This is about the visual arts. Because time is short, so I'm running a little quickly. Also, I would just want to, in terms of visual arts, I also want to say, again, I don't want to talk about things that I've only read about. I want to focus on things that I've personally seen and experienced. In Kalakshetra in Chennai, which is one of the oldest cultural institution we have in southern India, of teaching classical dance, in particular Bharatnatyam, and also visual arts, performing arts and some visual arts. So one of the visual arts that they focus on is Kalamkari, which is an art originating from Andhra Pradesh. But at Kalakshetra, they have almost specialized in dedicating Kalamkari to Ram Katha. So they have so much of, so many of their workshops are around illustrating Ramayana or episodes from Ramayana through Kalamkari. And one of the very interesting things that they have done and is that, usually just like I showed the illustrated, there is some text also. All miniature schools of paintings have had this in India. They would always put in text wherever possible. Kalamkari also at Kalakshetra, they do that. And they've also started using English script because a lot of the youngsters or people that they want, to know more about it. So they will do the Kalamkari the traditional way. Instead of Tamil text or Sanskrit text or Devanagari or anything, they'll write in English. So it makes it even brings it to a modern, more that kind of population who are more comfortable with English. Because this is a point that Lakshmi Jyoti had brought in the other day. So we want to just kind of, in so many ways, especially I always like to say after Sri Aurobindo's writings, after Sri Aurobindo's Savitri, English has become an Indian language because it has now gotten the potential, thanks to Sri Aurobindo, to express the highest spiritual realization. So we may not be able to do that. Majority of us will not be able to do that. But the language has been given that power, thanks to Sri Aurobindo. So in that sense, when I see these little attempts going on, it makes much more sense to me. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the performing arts. This has been a very, very useful and efficient way to take Ram Katha across India and to keep it as a living tradition. So I want to just show a few examples, and I'll just share a few pictures and then maybe one or two videos. That's all. So I hope this is visible to everyone. Yes, visible, correct? So let me just
visible.
Okay. So
Yes.
yes. So we all know about Ram Leela. This again, mid 17th century probably became more popular because one of Tulsidas's disciples actually started using dramatized versions of Ramcharitmanas. And in around, I have the date here, in 2005, this traditional Ram Leela was given this, accepted by UNESCO as part of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. So growing up in Delhi, this was something quite almost every Navaratri, we would go to our neighborhood Ram Leela. So I've seen so many of these Ram Leelas, but one of the best Ram Leelas that I've seen, and usually they would last all 9 days with grand Dashahara Vijayadashmi celebration on 10th day with the procession and everything, and the actors who will be playing Ram, Lakshman, they will be on a rath, and it was like just amazing experience for 9 nights and plus the 10th day of Dashahara. But in Delhi, there has also been a tradition of which started in 1957. And I want to show a little video clip of that. Sri Ram Bharatiya Kala Kendra has been performing for the last 70 plus years, almost 70 years now, 3-hour production of what they call today as simply Sri Ram. It used to have a different name, but over the last maybe 10-15 years, only it's called Sri Ram. Even during the COVID peak time when everything was closed, their rehearsals were going on. It's masterful production, and they released they recorded the whole 3-hour Ram Leela and put it on YouTube for 15 days for anyone to watch free of cost. It was just amazing. Non-stop, every year they've been doing it. The person who is currently doing it, she herself has been the lead producer, Shobha Deepak Singh. She herself has been doing it for the last 50 years. And she has been on record saying that she reads Ramcharitmanas every single day. The point I want to bring is that it is not something that she's doing as a producer and to make money out of this. This is her sadhana. So she's involved at every step of the way, with technical to costumes and everything. So one has to just experience that. And I'll just show a little clip of that Ram Leela. But it's not only confined to Ram Leela. move to Goa, there is a very strong tradition in the Konkan region of every year a series of Dashavatar theatrical performances happening in which Rama's story plays a very prominent role. Then we have a very interesting tradition in Uttarakhand, in the in a twin villages of Dungra and Salur, and this happens around Baisakhi time, the Hindu solar new year. This festival, which lasts for several days, is actually a dedication to their local village deity called Bhumiyar Deva, uh, Devi, Earth of Earth Mother. But Rama's story and the play, the theatrical tradition itself is called Raman. They use a lot of masks and a lot of interesting costumes. The entire Ramayana, local versions of Ramayana are uh, are staged in the village area, and people gather, and it's like a very living experience, a very shared experience. So you can see this picture of villagers just sitting there, and performers doing this. This also has been accepted by UNESCO as part of intangible cultural heritage, because except for these two twin villages, it's not performed anywhere. There is a very complex, almost secretive ritual ceremony that the performers go through before they start the performance. And they read the Ramayana first and then they perform. So very sacredly done. In Karnataka, Yakshagan, this again has been, Raman is also like 500, at least 400-500 years old. Yakshagana is about another 400-500-year-old tradition. Another UNESCO intangible heritage. So it's very interesting, very important to know that these traditions have been kept alive. This is something that I want to just take maybe 2-3 more minutes to talk about. This is something I have experienced. I've experienced the Ram Leelas, and this is the oldest theatrical form of in India, coming out of Kerala, Kudiyattam. It almost follows the ancient Sanskrit drama, how it used to be performed. And I had the experience of witnessing, the opportunity to sit through one performance for 2.5 hours, something that traditionally would take 9 to 12 days. That's how it is done. And what was the performance that I saw? And this is a picture from that performance. I had the opportunity to see this in IIT Madras at a Spick McKay program. Kudiyattam is a very sacred theatrical art form. Focus is all on expression through eyes and the upper body. There is very little movement. It is the main play that that day that was being performed was this act. It's the 6th act from the play called Ashcharya Chudamani, which is again written by a 7th, 8th century Sanskrit poet based out of Kerala. And it is believed that he might have been a disciple of Adi Shankaracharya. We don't know that for sure. But one of the acts in that play is called Anguli Yankam. That's when Hanuman gives the ring, Rama's ring, to Sita. So for 2.5 hours to see Hanuman's expression, it was like a out of the world experience. It was so beautiful. The performer himself and his wife, this gentleman's name is Margi Madhu, and his wife is Indu. They are one of the maybe few remaining exponents of this theatrical form, this dance form, who are there in India at the moment. And this particular kind of theater used to be performed only in the temples, like many other classical dance forms, classical art forms, theatrical forms, in very specially prepared Natya Mandapam called Kuthambalam, right? In Tamil, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Tamil, Malayalam, both, because at Kalakshetra also they call their auditorium Kuthambalam. So it's the same tradition that continues. And Margi Madhu was the first one to bring Kudiyattam outside the temple premises, just like Bharatnatyam was brought first outside of the temple premises by Rukmani Devi Arundel, right? The founder of Kalakshetra. So in 1993, he did a performance of, if I have my facts right here, of the entire text of Ashcharya Chudamani. He did that over 2.5 years, just to make sure that people know that this can be done outside the temple premises. More and more people would come. Then in 2012, again he takes the sixth act, the Anguli Yankam, and he collaborates with a Jewish university. And it's so interesting that this professor, David Suleiman, from what is Hebrew University of Jerusalem, is another one of the other experts on this particular dance form. So together they did a 29 evening performance of this sixth act. So I watched a very summarized version of that over 2.5 years, but I was blown away. And I'll just show you one picture. How the eyes spoke. This is the closest that I have the picture of, because you're just so absorbed in that whole experience. But this is how Ram Katha has been kept alive, from 2000, more than 2000-year-old art form to the modern Ram Leelas. And I want to bring us to the two videos of the modern stuff. Just something that I experienced. Let me share the first one. Okay, so in 2024, 2024, I was in Ujjain. Ujjain now has a very large Mahakal complex. Outside, just at the entrance of the Mahakal complex, they have built a beautiful museum dedicated to Vishnu, Shiva, and Shakti. So it's called Triveni. My plan was to go inside the museum, but just outside was a great Ram Leela happening. So I didn't even go into the museum. I went when it was almost time to close. I sat there and I watched whatever was showing on Ram Leela that night. It was around this time of the year, Ram Navami. So I'll just show you few seconds from that, followed by what I have found available on social media, a clip from the Sri Ram Bharati Kala Kendra Ram Leela, or rather Sri Ram production. You will see how they have integrated such interesting 3D technologies also to make Ram Leela more palatable. So I'll just play that clip. Yeah. So the first part is the Ujjain, what I saw 2 years ago. गंगा तो सामने ही बह रही है, चलो पाहि 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 मां शरण प्रभु शरण। भगवान, ये लंकापति रावण के छोटे भाई, जय हो प्रभु। अपने बड़े भाई को मैंने लाख समझाया कि वो आपसे बैर न ले, पर वो न माना। मैं अन्याय से मुक्त होकर आपकी शरण आया हूं प्रभु। So this is the more formal Sri Ram Bharati Kala Kendra production. Were you able to hear that? I'm sorry.
Not the last part, not
Okay.
the
Yeah.
first dialogues we heard.
Okay, so maybe the sound was, but let me share another video, which I'll make sure that the sound is on this time. Then last year, just few months back, in December, I was in Chennai. Now, I mentioned about Kalakshetra for the Kalamkari. Another way that they have kept alive is through their yearly 6-night performance of 6 dance dramas based on Valmiki Ramayans, which were choreographed by the founder herself, Rukmani Devi Arundale, from 1950s to 1970s. Over that period, she worked with people who selected the right verses from each of the kandas, from Bal Kand to the Lanka Kand, Yudh Kand, and every night, and then a lot of experimentation went into the costumes and all that. To this day, they have been performing, and according to one thing that I read, one article I read, they say almost 99% same similarity with what used to happen when she was there herself, in terms of transitions, in terms of costumes, in terms of stage movements. Anybody who knows anything about Bharatnatyam knows the immense contribution Rukmani Devi has made to making that tradition, what we know today, actually. It was a very different kind of a dance tradition. So everything that we know, and now Kalakshetra has its own brand of Bharatnatyam. So they have made their auditorium in the traditional way. They do 6 productions, and I'll just read out what they are called. Last year, I mean, in December, I could only watch 3 because it's just my own time constraint. So they start off with Sita Swayamvaram, Sri Ram Vanagamanam, Paduka Pattabhishekam. That's when Bharat takes his, Ram's Paduka. Shabari Moksham, Chudamani Pradhanam, and Mahapattabhishekam. Mahapattabhishekam is there, there was no place. People were just even waiting outside. They had no tickets. It was just amazing. So I want to show one clip from that. And it's an amazing experience. The sacredness with which they perform every day. There is a Rang Puja happens, which is how Natya Shastra speaks of how you do the puja for the stage, the live music and the sacredness. And, we are not supposed to wear chappals inside the auditorium. That itself sets the right tone, right? You're going to a temple. It's where puja is going to be performed. That's how we treated all our arts like that. So I'll just show one video. There's no camera, no picture allowed. So I found something on their website from few years back, 2018, their production. Just 2 minutes of that, and then I'll pause. Okay. Just give me a minute. Is it visible?
No, just click on it. It's playing audio, but not, sorry, for me.
No, only a
Video,
folder
video,
screen
video
is
file
seen.
has not opened.
For all of us, it is not visible.
Yeah.
So-
Yes.
It's not visible?
Double click
No,
on it,
video
Beluji,
file
see
has
if you
not
can
opened.
open.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I remember, I know what mistake I did. Just,
Yeah, you have to share after you open.
yeah. Yeah, all right. Now it should work. Yeah.
Thank you.
शोको बगदग चेतनग सहितं दीन मुखेन परिशोष्यत कैकेयी अभिवादेव रामो वचनमब्रवीत् अत्र भवान् ततः प्रव्राजयति मां वनौ श्रेयसे वृद्धये तात पुनरागमनाय च श्रेयसे वृद्धये तात पुनरागमनाय च गच्छ स्वा.
So just to sit there and to experience particularly how moved I was when the Pattabhishekam drama was being performed. I mean, everything, so many things were moving. So this was like my way of ringing in the new year last December. But now I'm planning to, this year, I'm hoping with Mother's Grace, I'll be go for the first 3 that I've missed. So at least once in lifetime, if opportunity is there, we should experience it, because this is a living tradition for the last, since 1955. She started with first, then another, since 1970. All 6 are being, they are being performed, and it's an experience. So this is how it has been kept alive. I could also talk about movies. I mean, there have been so many movies inspired by this. TV Ramayana, we know the phenomena that it created. I actually wrote a very scholarly paper once on how important that TV Ramayana movement was. And then during COVID time, when the government, Doordarshan, decided to show it again it became a hit. So something about Ram Katha that captures the Indian mind, the Indian heart. So I'll stop and thank you for listening. And I'm sure I have exceeded my time, Narendraji. I apologize, but it's just so dear to my heart. So I'll stop here.
Thank you, Beloo, especially for those glimpses from the different parts of the country and how we celebrate Rama, how we have him in our heart. Now I would like to invite the next speaker, Chitra Kolluru, whose the subject of her talk is Rama, Eternal Presence in the Heart of Bharat. Chitra Kolluru has been in corporate life across organizations for 23 years. While born in a family that has been exposed to the teachings of Sri Aurobindo and the mother, her quest for something higher helped her to discover her personal relationship with the dual avatars, and she has been closely associated with their writings for about 5 years now. Lately, Chitra has been taking a break from her corporate work to attend more deeply to her calling, and has penned a few articles for Renaissance also, and made a presentation on Vedic sacrifice and surrender for a recent Veda conference in the light of Sri Aurobindo. So, Chitraji, you are cordially invited to present your talk. Yeah.
Thank you, Narendraji. If you could just share the first slide, and I'll cue you on when to move. Thank you. Namaste, everyone. Over the last 2 days, we have immersed into an experiential journey with Ramayana by seeing its significance from the Indians that migrated to Fiji to children of creative, how they experience and internalize, from Mulla in Andhra to probably later today Tamil version of Ramayana, There are known to be 300 plus versions of Ramayana across regions, languages, cultures, and beyond Indian boundaries. I'm here today to share a slightly modern take on what I'm calling Ram, an eternal presence in the heart of Bharat. If you can move to the next slide. Just like we start any story, once upon a time, about 6,000 years ago, after much aspiration and worship by King Dashrath, the then illustrious king of the Ikshvaku dynasty, and his queens, a radiant boy was born. He was named Ram, the one who brings joy and delight. He brought with him not just immense joy, a turn of his father's kingdom's mood and fortune, but also unending hope and aspiration for his contemporaries and inspiration for hundreds of generations to this day. But what in Lord Ram's story of growing up as a valiant prince, being sent to 14 years of imprisonment, avenging Ravana for his act, and returning to rule Ayodhya has captured the heart of millions of Bharatvasis and Vishwavasis? Clearly, the protagonist of Valmiki's Itihasa, of the Ayana or the journey of Ram, is much larger than any inspiring or captivating story or poem. Let's delve a little deeper. Next slide, Narendra ji. Lord Sri Ram, the dusky complexioned, well built, broad shouldered, radiant prince of Ayodhya, as described by Rishi Valmiki, was known to be kind, well mannered, self controlled, and virtuous. Ramayana proclaims Sri Ram as righteous, one who would stand by dharma at all costs, courageous to take on Rakshasas and protect the rishis at a young age, and an embodiment of strength and valor. Ram has stood the test of time, a very long time, where his life story has outlived him many times over. And in fact, he lives on in the hearts and minds of the people of this country. But not just India, in all countries surrounding Bharat that have had trade relations and cultural exchange with us. Malaysia, Indonesia, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, Bhutan. Even the Buddhist and Sikh cultures have the mention of Lord Sri Ram. In fact, many of these countries have their own version of Ramayana. When I say version, I mean in the local languages, portrayed based on their belief and faith. Born in the north of India, his life journey takes him from Ayodhya, the capital city of Koshala, across the span of the country to the southernmost tip and through the famous Ram Setu over to Sri Lanka. All the places where his life took him have transformed into sacred places of worship, of pilgrimage for people across centuries. Still, what is it about Lord Ram that has been able to capture the minds and hearts of millions for centuries? The selfless and eternally kind Sri Ram, who was unflinching in his love and kindness and large-heartedness towards not just his family members, but also his subjects and forest inmates alike. The unjust move that life threw at him did not deter him from the path of kind benevolence towards all or harden his personality. Empathy and love were native to his nature and one with his spirit. Next slide, Narendra ji. Every Bharatiya Shishu, Indian child, has grown up with stories of Sri Ram. Ram Lalla, Ram Chandra, and Prabhu Sri Ram. His journey from effervescent childhood, glorious youth to magnanimous divinity that he attained. The Ram Katha and Ram Bhajans, as we have seen through the beautiful portrayals that Beloo ji showed us, have enraptured young and old alike and woven life values in us through mesmerizing stories. These are an inseparable part of our lives, our memories, and our very spiritual element. But Ram is beyond the Ram Katha. He is that trust that one holds on to when away from all this influence. The spirit that one holds on to when one is threatened to give up all else. The valiant and decisive Lord Sri Ram, who when adharma struck, was undeterred from his goal, did not buckle under the garb of fate or be clouded by his empathetic demeanor. When dharma beckoned action, he took on the warrior spirit, the strategist mindset, and embodied the executrix strength to act and march towards his goal. The just, the respectful and trustworthy Lord Sri Ram fought with resolve, but not with hatred. He respected even his enemies for the good in them, but did not blink an eye to destroy the evil in them. He nursed no malice against his family that wronged him, and clearly his nature was to live in the present moment and look ahead as to what needed to be done. Ram's personality exudes stability when there was wrongdoing and chaos surrounding him. His was a nature filled with giving and understanding, a leadership style of treating his role as one of duty and responsibility rather than power and privilege. These are eternal concepts in leadership that continue to inspire generations. With a longing for a world where these values take center stage, not just take center stage, but manifest and play out in character and in reality. Yet, Ram is bigger than the Ram Rajya that people talk of and read about and dream of and aspire for. Ram's legacy is not limited to inspiring leadership for this country. He has descended into the very fabric of our lives. Next slide. When freedom eluded us and we were under the oppressive British rule, Ram stood for freedom, standing up for truth and honor. Through his example of rising up to the oppression of Ravan and ridding society of adharma. When caste-based divisions and regressive practices accosted our society, Ram stood for oneness, the oneness that defines the human element, respect for one and all. Through the example he set by eating Sabari's jhoote bear, half-eaten fruit. When religious strife raises its hood in our country, like it did during the gory days of partition, Ram stood for unity. He stood for rising above differences and embracing the spirit of Ram Rajya. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patit Pavan Sita Ram, Ishwar Allah Tere Naam, Sabko Sanmati De Bhagwan was the cry on everyone's lips. To this day and many years hence, Ram will live on and evolve and continue to be the powerful icon and role model who lived a life checkered and difficult, but at the same time inspiring and emotionally invigorating at every stage. Ram represents the Sattwik age of human evolution, governed by reason, ethical restraint, harmony, truth, honor, and social order. This was necessary to suppress the Rakshasa that stood for violent ego and desire, and the Vanara that stood for uncontrolled animal mind. Sri Aurobindo, speaking about Ram, says, Ram is a conscious avatar with a precise evolutionary work. He was not meant to be a spiritual prophet or a mystic teacher. He is a releaser, and an establisher of something essential. Sri Aurobindo also insists that Ram must be understood in the Valmiki's time spirit as a symbolic and evolutionary figure, and hence analyzing him like a modern psychological character may be counterproductive to what he stood for. In essence, Ram is the avatar who established the rule of dharma and ethical reason on earth, preparing humanity for higher spiritual possibilities by first civilizing the human will. Next slide. For the individualistic young of today who are questioning all forms of rule, from communism to democracy, and shunning autocracy like never before, it is time to present Ram in the classrooms, in the corporate boardrooms, in political discourses, at the war fronts. We had a beautiful example of how Ram was brought into the classrooms yesterday. As you can see on this slide, AI gave me a weird and unrelatable, funny picture of Ram in a boardroom or corporate setting. This artificiality is, however, not the way of God. If Ram has to be brought into the corporate setting, then we must, out of our sincere effort, firstly read, listen, and understand the spirit of Sri Ram. Then we must imbibe, even if with utmost difficulty, at least one, let's say a few qualities of Sri Ram. This will have us fall, be told we are silly or unreal or dramatic, made fun of, ignored, avoided, possibly opposed. But we must withstand. Our values should matter for us more than the gratification or the position we hold or want to occupy. We will be challenged and blamed for flouting the very values we think we are safeguarding. But we must show forbearance. Let us quickly recount an example of when Ram killed Bali as promised to Sugriva. But the newly coronated Vanara king, distracted by the kingly riches after long parched years of hiding and escaping Bali, momentarily forgot his promise to Ram. What would we do in Ram's position? Most likely, Sugriva would become a greater villain to us than Ravana. The trauma of losing his wife, but showing restraint at Sugriva's delays is what Ram is made of. He wanted Sugriva to rule and muster his courage and conviction as a king before setting out on an important voyage to find Sita. Such is the spirit of Ram. Once we can house him in our lives, in how we conduct ourselves, then we will have the right to talk about Ram Rajya. Because Ram does not belong in the temple premises alone, he belongs in our hearts, in our lives. For as one poet put it beautifully, and some of you may have heard in this movie Swadesh, Ram ही तो करुणा में है, शांति में राम है. राम ही है एकता में, प्रगति में राम है. राम बस भक्तों नहीं शत्रु की भी चिंतन में है. देख तज के पाप रावण, राम तेरे मन में है. मन से रावण जो निकाले, राम उसके मन में है. Which loosely translates as, it is Ram that is in empathy. Ram is the essence of peace. It is Ram alone that is in unity. Progress is made of Ram. Ram takes care not just of his devotees, but also of his enemies. When sin is evaded, one finds Ram in the heart. Every heart that is rid of Ravan finds Ram in it. Over the centuries, Ram has been the symbol of everything that is true, right, and vast. Satyam, Ritam, Bruhat. He is the eternal and ever relevant new age leader. Ram is debated and dissected across situations and settings, which is hurtful to many. But holding on to the image that we know of Ram, the one that was fed to us in our childhood, may not define Ram completely either. Let the young who have not been inspired by the same folklore or the childhood stories of the inspiring Sri Ram yet discover him. Some of us may approach him with devotion, some through the thirst for knowledge and to study his personality. Some may challenge his influence, others may accost his legacy, each based on his mental capacity and character. Let us not feel offended if one sits in judgment of his acts. If one raises a question or even a finger, for he is a legacy that the world must and will learn from, the icon that men have to study and live up to. Let each one discover the Ram that attracts him, that calls out to him, for our mind can only fathom him in parts, slowly, bit by bit, scene by scene. However, it will remain true that we will stand a greater chance of embodying the spirit of Ram if we turn to him with reverence and humility. Thank you. A glorious Ramanavami to all of us. May the spirit of Ram take home in us. Thank you.
That was an excellent presentation, Chitraji. I really liked that AI image of Rama sitting with his
All
tie
AI can
and
do.
coat.
Yeah.
When you try to transplant, things from the Ramayana, Mahabharata, and into boardroom and trying to prop up your bottom line and doing all kinds of things without going into the real spirit of what they represent. Just one, without taking anything from what you said, just one line I would like to say. This Ishwar Allah Tero Naam, that is not the actual, line. The actual line is Bhaj Pyare Tu Sitaram. I think that was brought in by Gandhiji, if I'm not mistaken. That was brought in by Gandhiji for a specific purpose.
Right.
And we not go into all that. But
Yes, the original is a Narsingh Mehta's poet. Yeah.
So anyway, let's that. But otherwise, it was a very interesting and excellent presentation. Thank you, Chitra. Thank you. Now I would like to invite Shanta Rajanji, whose presentation is called "Glimpses of Kamba Ramayana," which is the famed Tamil version of Ramayana. She would be speaking on that. And the music is later on, right? No, not with the presentation. That is
Yes,
later
music
on.
is later on. Yeah.
So a few words about Shantaji. Apart from holding MPhil in economics, she did a course on Sri Aurobindo studies with Sakar, Pondicherry. As a musician, she is teaching Carnatic classical music and bhajans. She is a sadhak who continues to walk in the mother's and the master's sunlit path guided by their light. Over to you, Shantaji.
Yeah. நன்மையும் செல்வமும் நாளும் நல்குமே திண்மையும் பாவமும் சிதைந்து தேயுமே ஜன்மமும் மரணமும் இன்றி தீருமே இம்மையே ராமா ராமா என்ற இரண்டு எழுத்தினார். Namaste everyone. Jai Sri Ram, Jai Jai Sri Ram. This verse from Kamban dedicates the whole thing to the two letters or two syllables of Rama, Ra and Ma. Do akshar ka hai ye. And then It gives wealth, it gives prosperity, it gives janma, and a good janma, and then destroys our sins, and then the cycle of birth and death it destroys. So, last 3 days, as Chitra was mentioning now, we have had wonderful evenings collectively. I give more importance to that. Individually, we are devotees of Sri Rama, but these 3 evenings have been very immersive, and we have lot of opportunities, visual and also audio lessons from what we can learn from Rama. I thank very much Beloo-ji, Narendra-ji, and Biswajita for giving me this opportunity. I am more a singer and a writer. I written a lot of things, and less speaker. So please bear with me for my fumblings in my talking. And therefore, I am going to read more from my text than teaching and telling. Like Lakshmi ji has done that regional flavor in Telugu, I am going to give in the regional flavor of Tamil by Kavi Chakravarti Kamban. Kamban is recognized as Alvar. Like we have 12 Alvars, but Kamban is called Kambanata Alvar. Like he is a special Alvar in every sense. Kamban, he was born in Terendur Gramam. Now it is become a Gramam, but Terendur Rajagopala Swami temple is very famous. So in Mayiladuthurai district, near very Tanjavur. So he was a contemporary of Chola king, and his period is said to be around 10th century, because at that it was the beginning of the bhakti movement, and also he belonged to a fairly wealthy family. And because Tanjore district and all that, because of the rice bowl in those days, people were fairly rich with their granary and all that. And moreover, he was also given and benefactor by Sadayappa Pillai, lot of money and a lot of things. And it is also said that he belonged to a weaver's family. So we have a saying in our Tamil that Kamban vittu tariyum kavi paadum. That is, even the looms of the weavers, even the looms of Kamban's house start singing poems. So he also learned many languages, and among them were Tamil and Sanskritam, and he became proficient with that. He had all qualities of a devout bhakta of Lord Vishnu, and also that of becoming a great poet. As he blossomed into a great poet, he was attracted towards Valmiki's Ramayana and got engrossed into it. He was attracted to the poetic brilliance of Valmiki, and he thought, why not translate it or bring the essence of Valmiki Ramayana into Tamil, so that the Tamil-speaking people would be highly benefited. Of course, people had recognized that Sri Rama was an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, and they were worshipping already. Also, the inherent bhakti towards his Ishta Devata, which was always springing from his heart, could be channelized into a Mahakavyam. Thus sprang the fountain of Ramayana from the mouth of Kavi Chakravarti Kamban. As was the custom in those days, just now Beloo was telling about the Ranga Puja. So in that Ranga Puja, a poet had to present his literary work in front of all the recognized poets for their approval. This story itself is very big, but very interesting, and I will keep it for the last one. Although now in this in this topic, not only glimpses of Kamban, I am going to have a comparison with Valmiki, and in what sequences and incidents he differs from Valmiki. Although he has followed almost the entire Kavya of Valmiki, it is neither produced verbatim nor it is a translation. He brought in the Tamil culture flavor and then prevailing customs and traditions in his Kavyam. Like Kalidas, Kamban's imagery, including metaphors and similes, is par excellence. With this background, I would straight away go into the subject matter, glimpses of Kamba Ramayanam with reference to Valmiki's Ramayanam also. It is a vast topic, I know, but considering the time, I would choose only a few incidents, but definitely not in chronological order because we know Ramayana very much, and ponder over the depiction of Kamban and how he varies from Valmiki. The first and foremost is the difference between Kamban and Valmiki regarding the perception of the Kavya Nayaka Sri Rama. Valmiki treats Rama as Maryada Purushottam, that is an ideal human being. He has got all the 32 Kalyana Gunas, which is supposed to be an ideal human being. Now, we know that Narada himself in his Sankshepa Ramayana, Narada himself enumerates all the 32 Kalyana Gunas, and he says only Rama had these. So that way it was a Maryada Purushottam for Valmiki. But Rama, taking clues from this, knowing that an ordinary human being cannot have 32 Kalyana Gunas, he was very much impressed, and he said only an avatar could get it. So he himself was impressed by these things, and then he said Rama is an avatara. Actually, Kamban's Kavya is not called Kamba Ramayanam. It is called Kamban's Ramavatara because Rama has come down as an avatara. And this way, and also he has given a full padalam, that is full canto about before Rama is born. There is a depiction in the Milky Ocean in Sri Hari's Vaikuntha, where Sri Hari promises Devas that he would be born. Yes, it is Shantarajan. Yeah. Before the birth of Rama, he clearly depicts the scene at the Vaikuntha where Sri Hari promises Devas that he would be born as Sri Rama. In fact, Kamban titled, as I said, it is a Ramavatara. Next, the next variation is there is no Mangala Charanam as such in Valmiki Ramayana, because the first shloka itself starts with a shoka. It is born out of the shoka when everyone knows that Valmiki sees two loving birds and a hunter kills one of them. So he says, Ma Nishada, don't do. So this has an negative inclination. Ma Nishada Pratishtham Tvamagama Shashvati Sabhaha Yat Krauncha Mithunadekam Avadhi Kama Mohitam. This is how he starts. But there are some interpreters, poets and pandits, they say that Ma means Mahalakshmi, that is Shri. So we cannot take it as a negative inclination. This is also a Mangalacharanam because it starts with an auspicious word like Ma. However, we won't go into so much of details. Whereas in our Kamban, he starts with the Kavya with a proper Mangalacharanam. Ulagam Yavayum Tam Ulavakkalum, Nilai Peruttalum, Neekkalum, Neengala Alagayala, Vilayattu Udayar, our Talaivar. He is the head of our family, Prapancha. Annavarke Sharanam Nangale. A small translation would be, I bow at the feet of the omnipotent Ishvara, the supreme being of all, supreme being who creates, sustains, and destroys the entire cosmos and surrenders to him alone. The verse starts with the letter U, that is A-U-Ma, that is a central letter of the Pranava Akshara, which is the syllable of sustenance, and that is the pratik of Mahavishnu. This is how he starts. Then the next variation is an interesting one. The incident of distributing the Yajna Prasada from Dasharatha to the Maharanis. For Valmiki, it was sheer calculation that half of it to Kaushalya, 1/4 of it to Kaikeyi, the second one, and the last 1/8 were to be given to Sumitra. But Kamban goes to the roots of the story. Dasharatha marries first Kaushalya, it is accepted, then Sumitra. And when they could not beget sons, he goes to Kekeya Raja and asks for Kaikeyi's hands. King Kekeya Raja also agrees to Dasharatha, but on one condition he says that, as usual, Kaikeyi's son should become the Yuvaraja. When Kaikeyi also does not get a son, the ritual of Putra Kameshti Yajna is held, and so Dasharatha thinks that this condition is null and void. So we don't have to fulfill this condition. But Kamban does not forget this story. So he says he visualizes a sequence where the Yajna Prasada is distributed in the order of the marriages. First to Kausalya, and then to Sumitra, and last one to Kaikeyi, because first half is given and something else is given to Sumitra, and the bacha kucha jaise bolte hai na, he takes up everything from the inside of the pot and just he gives by default to Sumitra. It is, Kamban says here, it is a divine intervention, because she has to beget two sons, one for Rama and one for Bharata. So this is a beautiful, and that's how when this Rama gets the Yuvaraja, this thing, he was to be done, Mantra comes to Kaikeyi and reminds her of that condition. But of course, we know the other things, we won't go into the details. Thirdly, in the Kamba Ramayana, it is a Shatrughna who performs the last rituals for Dasharatha and not Bharata, because Vashishta reminds everyone that Dasharatha had disowned the Kaikeyi and Bharata before his death. And this makes more sense because once after the war is over, Dasharatha descends from Swarga to bless Rama. And Rama requests Dasharatha to accept Kaikeyi and Bharata as wife and son respectively. So this makes a good sense of the story. And the most beautiful thing of is the marriage of Rama and Sita, which is the most popular in whole of Tamil Nadu. Sita Kalyanam in Kamban Vida is always there. The Kamban celebrations mean first Sita Kalyanam. So that I will touch upon. Kamban here follows the tradition of Tamil literature, Tamil culture also. So in Tamil literature, the Nayaka and Nayaki, as per the Tamil literature, they have to meet and recognize and then accept one another. So in every Tamil work, you will see that a Nayaka and Nayaki have to meet and approve each other. The platonic love has to blossom that way. So therefore, Kamban creates a scene where they meet or at least see each other. So Sri Rama, preceded by Vishwamitra, followed by Lakshmana, is walking down the streets of Mithila. Sita is playing with her friends in the balcony of her palace. She drops the flower ball and bends down. At the same time, Rama lifts his head in a diagonal angle upwards. I am very much tempted to tell these verses. Of course, for want of time, I have to resist myself. And then he lifts his head in a diagonal manner and sees Sita. Their eyes meet each other. When their eyes met, suddenly they were reminded of Vaikuntha scene where Sri Hari and Mahalakshmi take leave of each other to be born into the earth. That sequence they are reminded of, and then they move on. Rama follows, and Sita also gets in. In those a few seconds, the eyes have talked so many words with each other. This they are reminded of both Rama and Sita. So Rama proceeds, and Rama thinks, is it not adharma to think of another woman like this? But at the same time, why I have never had a thought which is counter to the dharma? Then why I am thinking of this girl only? I can't understand. Maybe she is the one whom I am destined to marry. Same is the condition with Sita also. Now she has an additional worry. She thinks if the person who is to lift Shiv Dhanush tomorrow is not the person with whom I met yesterday, I think I will have to leave this body. I cannot think of any other person. But of course, we know the story, all ends well. In Valmiki Ramayana, they never meet before the Shiv Dhanush incident. And in Tulsi Ramayana, I am told that there is a Pushpavatika scene, but he just touches upon. I don't know much about it. Another variation is the chastity of the woman of Ramayana, whether Sita or Tara or Mandodari. Kamban does not want to deviate from the Indian Pativrata tradition. Sita's abduction we know very well. Here Kamban does not want her to be touched by Ravana, even though by her hair, which Valmiki does. He depicts here as a Ravana. He depicts Ravana as abducting Sita with the whole earth on which the Parnashala of Rama was there. And therefore, in Ashoka Vatika also, she is sitting on the same Parnashala created by Rama and Lakshmana. That means she is in her own territory and her own Rajya. This is again a beautiful scene. So even in Ashoka Vatika, she is sitting there in her kingdom. As for Mandodari, Kamban has a very soft corner for her. He thinks Mandodari is not at all, Ravana doesn't deserve Mandodari at all. Mandodari is a daughter of Maya, that is Vishwakarma. So he always refers to her as Mayan's daughter rather than Mandodari. He never, I think in only one incident, he tells the name as Mandodari. Otherwise, always refers to her as Mayan's Magal only. Magal means daughter. When Ravana departs, now here is the beautiful sequence. When Ravana departs this world and all the ritual rites are done, last rites are done, Valmiki says she went inside the city. But Kamban stops for a moment here. Kamban shows a beautiful and pathetic picture. When everyone has left the city, Mandodari stands there alone and calls her husband with a special name, a very special name, which they used to call each other in their privacy. As soon as she utters that name, she drops down dead. That means it's not that Sati system was there, but she was not able to withstand that departure. So that is that. In the case of Tara, Vali's wife, Valmiki says Tara lived in the Antapura of Sugriva. We don't know how she lived because it is an animal kingdom and there is, as Vali himself has said, their rules and regulations are little different. But here again, Kamban says, when Lakshmana comes to meet Sugriva with full of anger, Sugriva sends Tara, that is his Bhabiji, to pacify Lakshmana. So when he sees her, Lakshmana hears the motherly voice of Tara. So he turns, and when he sees her covered with full white apparel or white sari, we can say, from head to toe, only her face shining like a full moon, he thinks of her mother Sumitra. So far in these 13 years of forest, he had considered only Rama as his father and Sita as mother. But in this Tara, this itself shows the chastity of Tara or the Pativrata of Tara. These three sequences are very good. And so I just wanted to highlight. And one more variation is a bit funny thing. This is about Rama and Shurpanakha. Shurpanakha, when she comes to see Rama, Valmiki introduces both as characters in stark contrast. As Sri Aurobindo, just now we were telling, Rama is the personification of Sattwika Guna. So this is a beautiful description. Here again, those shlokas are too good that way. Rama Sumukha, Shurpanakha Durmukhi. Rama Vritta Madhyama, that is having a perfect torso. And she Mahodari, her fat, she has a fat and stomach. He Priti Ropam, she Virupa and Maya Ropini. He Sukesham, beautiful hair, and she Tamra Murtaja. Tamra Murtaja means the copper colored unkempt hair. But in short, Rama is the personification of Sattwik Aropa, and she, Tamasic and Rajasic rolled into one. Kamban here varies, and he thinks of Putana also of Krishnavatara. So he takes the clue from being Maya Rupini. Shurpanaka comes as a damsel and enters into Rama's Varnashala, and then as if she is overtaken by the complete desire and karma to marry him, so she enters as a beautiful woman, as if she is a Sita. Because she belongs to Rakshasa Kula. And then afterwards we know the story. When she is provoked by Lakshmana, she shows her identity. So if it is Ramayana, Anjaneya cannot be left far behind. Yatra yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam tatra tatra kritamasta kanchalim. So there also, here I won't give a bigger description because Lakshmi Jyoti herself told on that day, Drushta Sita, So in the incident of Anjaneya's reporting to Rama, he said Drushta Sita. That meaning Sita was seen by me. So it is in a passive voice, so that he is doesn't get anxious. Rama doesn't get anxious. Here in Kamban, he goes a step further. He says, Kanden Karpin Kanale. That meaning I saw a burning fire out of Pativrata Sita. That means her chastity was burning like a fire and Sita was untouched by Rama. This is again a beautiful thing. Now we come to the last portion where I said that about the Ranga Puja, that Kamban had to do the Ranga Puja or present the whole Kavyam in it is said in Trichy, Srirangapatnam, the Srirangam Kovil. There only, in the temple only, he gives. So he brings in a sequence purposely here. And then this is how it goes. Kamban's Ramavatara, which is totally absent in Valmiki. In Yuddha Kanda, Ravana's Darbar, Vibhishana rises and to give some advice to Ravana. Oh brother, have you not forgotten the story of one of our ancestors? He too got many boons in the way of avoiding death. But Hiranyakashipu, that is our ancestor, one of the ancestors, died at the hands of Narsimha Avatara, literally, because he used his nakhas, nails only. Kamban's poetic brilliance and devotional flavor overtakes us completely in these 256 and odd verses. Why should he bring an unnecessary chapter of Ramayana in this is the question that arises. Kamban cannot resist from a story which is very close to his heart. And as a bhakta, he was a worshipper of Narsimha. So when he presented this kavya at the temple premises of Srirangam, many scholars opined that this chapter was redundant and not necessary at all. But Kamban said, as a devotee, I want to present this Sannadhi, in this Sannadhi of Sri Ranganatha, who again is the Kula Devata of Sri Rama. So whether you accept it or not, I am going to present it. So everyone decided to absent himself, go away, or not to comment on anything. But as Kavit Chakravarti went on narrating this story, a divine voice of acceptance like hail, hail, sadhu, sadhu, came from one of the pillars of, even now they are showed, that the stamba is shown in the Kamban premises in the Srirangapatnam, that Ranganatha Kovil. A divine voice was there, and that's how, needless to say, the Ramavatara of Kamban was accepted by the scholars, and even till today, Kamban lives in millions hearts of Tamil-speaking Rama Bhaktas. That is how I would like to give a wind up in the story. And one more thing, it's a very small passing reference I will tell, that Ravana is not a Tamil king. Like the non-Sangis in and the Dravidian movement, they say that Ravana is a Rakshasa, he belongs to Tamil Nadu and all that. I would like to present here and tell once more. He comes from where he is a Brahmin and Pulastya Kula and Brahmin Kula, and he comes from where Bihar. Of course, he went into Lanka is another story. So Ravana it's a fallacy that he is he belongs to Tamil Nadu. And again, I am not downgrading Valmiki, because without Valmiki, Kamban's Ramayana would not have existed or become famous. This is just to upfront a little bit of Kamban's greatness. I am tempted to give more and more imageries and the natural beauties and natural sceneries which are given by Kamban. I think I will keep this for in next opportunity whenever we get. Once again, I thank Sri Narendra ji and Beloo ji and Viswajita, and thanks everyone all. And please, thanks for bearing with me. Thanks.
Thank you, Shantaka. That was very insightful, and especially the comparisons and the differences that you brought about between Valmiki Ramayana and Kamba Ramayana. I did not know many of these aspects that you talked about today. It was very enlightening for me. And I would like to say here that, you see, this is the beauty of our country, that we don't fix God in rigid forms. We don't have a rigid form for God. And Valmiki, we are not the people who would say that Valmiki is the final word on Ram. Because Rama lived before Valmiki, Rama lived in the work of Valmiki, and Rama lived again after Valmiki in the works of Kamba, in the works of, in Bengali they have Kritibas Ramayana, and of course Tulsidas ji to hey. So this is the beauty of our land. We think that God is a mirror where the devotee sees himself. So whatever the devotee is, he sees himself. The mirror reflects the whole creation and the universe. And God is like water, Water doesn't have shape. It takes the shape of the vessel. So here the vessel is the devotee's heart. So the way he perceives, his Lord or whatever. So all these aspects are so beautiful. Even I think the variations give lend more value to the original Valmiki Ramayana. All these, the poets, the way they saw Rama, it's so beautiful. So thank you.
I just want to add one thing. I think this is so, it's not the differences only, but also the similarities. Like in Tulsidas's about, they also see each other in the Pushpavatika, as you mentioned. And I think this is where Ramanand Sagar's PV Ramayana in 1980s, it did such a good job of taking bits and pieces from various versions. So this particular, though, if you remember that Ramanand Sagar's TV Ramayana, there is Pushpavatika scene. But the thing about, that if he does not pick up the Dhanush, then my life is not worth living. All that he took from Kamba Ramayanam. So many things. So it's just so amazing how things come together. Yes, I think Vijay has something to share before we move on to so thank you so much, Shantama. That was just so beautiful.
I couldn't resist. Shantama, it was awesome the way you have compared, as Narendra ji rightly put, a mirror. Valmiki Ramayana is like a mirror. It shows how should I live? It shows live like Maryada Purushottama Rama. Kamba Ramayanam is like a temple. How deeply you can feel this and surrender to the Avatar Purush. That is Maryada Purush. This is Avatar Purush. All this thing, amazing. Thank you so much for the deep work. And nicely presented by Beloo as always, and Chitra. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vijay.
Thank you, Vijay Lakshmi ji. And now I would invite Viswajita. Viswajita Mahapatra is a graphic designer and admin assistant at BhāratShakti, Sri Aurobindo Society. She works closely on the planning, coordinating and organizing of various programs and workshops. She specializes and loves to be a part of workshops for children. So Viswajita, we are all waiting to hear your offering, musical offering for for Prabhu Ram.
नमस्ते। पवित्र रामनवमी के शुभ अवसर पर आप सभी को बहुत सारे शुभकामनाएं। 2 दिन से हमारा राम कथा का प्रोग्राम चल रहा है, बहुत अच्छा लगा। स्पेशली बेलू दी, आपको बिग थैंक यू। आपके दिमाग में जो आइडियाज हमेशा आता रहता है कि कैसे हम प्रेजेंट करें प्रोग्राम को, तो बहुत अच्छा था। स्पेशली आज का दिन तो बहुत अच्छा है। आज का जो ये हमारा आखिरी दिन है, राम रसा, अनुभूति राम रसा, तो मैं आज आपके सामने एक ओडिया भजन रखना चाहती हूँ। लेकिन मुझे पता है ओडिया लैंग्वेज आप समझ नहीं पाएंगे, तो हमारा ये जो ओडिया भजन है उसका मेन जिस्ट है प्रभु जगन्नाथ, कैसे हम उनको उनके छवि में प्रभु श्री राम को देखते हैं और क्यों मानते हैं। जगन्नाथ को श्री राम हम क्यों मानते हैं, तो इसके पीछे एक छोटा सा कहानी है जो मैं आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहती हूँ। तुलसीदास, संत कवि तुलसीदास, जो रामचरितमानस के रचयिता है, वो एक बार पूरी उड़ीसा के पूरी जगन्नाथ टेम्पल आए थे जगन्नाथ को दर्शन करने के लिए। लेकिन जब वो मंदिर के अंदर गए, उनके मन में बहुत उल्लास भरे थे, वो बहुत खुश थे। जब मंदिर पहुंच गए, भगवान के पास वो पहुंच गए, पहुंचने के बाद जगन्नाथ के सामने जब वो खड़े हुए, उस टाइम वो दुखी हो गए भगवान को देख के। फिर वो वापस आ गए। आते फिर मंदिर से बहुत दूर अकेले वो सोचते सोचते गए कि इतने दूर से मैं आया लेकिन मेरा आना व्यर्थ हो गया। मैं जो सोच के यहाँ पे आया था लेकिन मुझे कुछ नहीं मिला। फिर वो एक पेड़ के नीचे शांत होके बैठ के दुखी होके वो सोच रहे हैं। उस टाइम एक बालक आके उनके सिर पर हाथ थोड़ा फैला के बोले, आप दुखी क्यों हो? तो उस टाइम वो बोले कि मैं इसीलिए इतने दूर से मैं आया था क्योंकि मैं प्रभु राम जी के बहुत बड़ा भक्त हूँ और लॉर्ड जगन्नाथ के चेहरे पे मैं प्रभु राम जी को देखना चाहता था। लेकिन ये क्या मैं देखा, ना हाथ है, ना पाँव है, ना कान है, ना कुछ भी नहीं। सिर्फ ये वुड से एक बना हुआ विग्रह, विग्रह मीन्स आइडल, मूर्ति। तो इसमें मुझे मेरा राम का कुछ नजर नहीं आया, मुझे छवि दिखाई नहीं दिया, इसीलिए मैं दुखी हूँ। इतने दूर से मैं आया लेकिन कुछ नहीं मिला मुझे यहाँ पर। तो बालक ने मुस्कुराए, फिर और एक बार हाथ सिर पर बुलाए और बोले कि यही बात तो तुम रामचरितमानस में लिखे हो। फिर वो शांत होके उनके शकल को थोड़ा देखे, मैं कहाँ? फिर बालक ने बोले कि आप ये पद नहीं लिखे हैं, बिनु पद चलई सुनई बिनु काना, कर बिनु कर्म करई विधि नाना, आनन रहित सकल रस भोगी, बिनु वाणी बकता बड़ो जोगी। इसका अर्थ यह है, भगवान बिना पैर के चल लेते हैं, बिना कान के वो सुन लेते हैं, बिना शरीर के सब कुछ छू लेते हैं, तो बिना आंख प्रयोग करके सबको देख लेते हैं, बिना नासिका के सारे सुगंध ले लेते हैं। यही तो आप लिखे थे। फिर उनको ये एहसास हुआ। अगले दिन मॉर्निंग में फिर वो और एक बार पूरी जगन्नाथ टेम्पल गए और उस टाइम श्री राम के भाव में वो जब जगन्नाथ बलभद्र और सुभद्रा को देखे, उनके स्थान पर प्रभु राम, लक्ष्मण और जानकी को वो देख पाए। तो मेरा बस ये कहना है, भगवान कभी भी कोई भी आकार और विग्रह में सीमित नहीं होते हैं। बस ये इसीलिए हम जगन्नाथ के छवि में प्रभु श्री राम को भी देखते हैं। और ये जो भजन है इसका मेन जिस्ट, आप ओडिया नहीं समझ सकते लेकिन भाव को फील कर सकते हैं। ये इसमें बस मेन जिस्ट है, प्रभु जगन्नाथ प्रभु राम है, वो ही शाम है, भगवत गीता है, वही माता पिता सब कुछ प्रभु जगन्नाथ है। तो मैं अभी आपके सामने उड़िया भजन गाने जा रही हूँ। जगन्नाथ तुम्हें परम ब्रह्म, जुगे जुगे सत्य सनातन, भकत वत्सल तुमे भगवान, पुराण प्रसिद्ध सर्वोत्तम। तुमे राम तुमे श्याम तुमे नारायण, तुमे गीता भागवत तुमे पारायण, जगन्नाथ तुमे परम ब्रह्म, जुगे जुगे सत्य सनातन। निजे हि निजर स्रष्टा महाप्रभु, निजे निजर तुलना, अवर्णनीय हे अनंत असीम, के करी पारे कळना। तुमे निराकार तुमे अनाकार, कोटि काम जिणी अनुपम। तुमे राम तुमे श्याम तुमे नारायण, तुमे गीता भागवत तुमे पारायण। तुमे माता तुमे पिता महाप्रभु, तुमे बंधु तुमे सखा, शपथ ब्रह्मांड जनक बुलाई, करुअछ सृष्टि रक्षा। तुमे दीन बंधु तुमे भाव सिंधु, तुमे भकतर प्रियतम। तुमे राम तुमे श्याम तुमे नारायण, तुमे गीता भागवत तुमे पारायण, जगन्नाथ तुमे परम ब्रह्म, जुगे जुगे सत्य सनातन, भकत वत्सल तुमे भगवान, पुराण प्रसिद्ध सर्वोत्तम। तुमे राम तुमे श्याम तुमे नारायण, तुमे गीता भागवत तुमे पारायण, तुमे राम तुमे श्याम तुमे नारायण, तुमे गीता भागवत तुमे पारायण। जय श्री राम।
Thank you, Biswita. That was excellent. And especially that anecdote about Tulsidas not finding his Rama in the Jagannath image. That was wonderful. So now, Binuji, should I just play the video?
Yeah, so I know we are a little bit beyond time, but if it's all right with others, we'll just maybe we can first play Shantama's video and then end with or maybe we can take 5 minutes before we move on to the two videos. If there are any comments or questions anybody would like to share, because there's been a lot of talking. So if any, just for 5 minutes. Bijoy, you understand Uriya, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was like looking at him. I think we have one Uriya speaker other
So
than
nice, so nice. No, my sincere thanks to entire team of BhāratShakti and all the eminent speakers for taking us last 3 days through the mesmerizing experience of Ramakatha, and which is very, very relevant actually, what I feel. And I will just tell the importance of Ram. Undoubtedly, even I remember one sloka where Shiva Bhagavan tells Parvati, Mother Parvati, that Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasra Nama Tattulyam Rama Nama Bhranane. So it shows it is not कि भगवान शिव छोटा है या भगवान विष्णु छोटा है, but how important is Ram is. So in our day-to-day life also we have seen. So thank you very much for taking us through this experience. Thanks a lot. And we should give more time to Santama for taking a whole session on, the intricacies of Ramayana. Thank you.
Yes, that's a very good point. We will do that at some point. Yes. It's, I mean, again, it's just so rich. Where do you begin and where do you stop? So, yes.
And beautiful voice, Biswajita, and we could understand.
Yes.
We really understand. Beautiful, ma. Thank you so much. And such a sweet voice. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
And of course, Beloo, nothing to the thing. And I am always so.
No. We'll continue to do this in the over the next several months. Variations of this, or going deeper, as Bijoy is suggesting, on some of these topics. Let's try to bring this to a conclusion with some more Rama Rasa. Since morning, one of the things I wanted, there is one particular Shabad Kirtan which has been going in my mind since morning, Rama Rasa Piyore. It's just so beautiful. I heard it actually while going to work on my mobile. It is just so beautiful because Rama Rasa is beyond what we understand as, the Hindu tradition. I think Chitra pointed that out. Gurbani में सबसे ज्यादा अगर कोई शब्द है वो राम है. So that's the thing. So it is, Ram is everywhere. So yes, we can play the videos first with Shantamas and then we'll conclude with creative school children thing.
निर्विकल्पं निराकारमेकं विकारादिहीनं परं ब्रह्मरूपं चिदानन्दमूर्तिं तुरीयं वरेण्यं भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वम् धराभारहारं रमाराध्यपादं जगन्मङ्गलं सर्वलोकाधिपालं विभुं शाश्वतं ब्रह्मचिन्मात्ररूपं भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वम् शरश्चन्द्रवक्त्रं स्फुरत्पद्मनेत्रं नवीनाभ्रवासं तटे श्वेतवस्त्रं गलत्प्रेमदृष्टिं लसत्पुल्लमालं भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वम् ज्वलत्कोटिसूर्यप्रभादिप्रतापम् असंख्यैन्दुशीतं प्रभुं प्रेमपूर्णं वरं विश्ववन्द्यं दयाधर्ममूर्तिं भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वम् धनुर्बाणहस्तं रणे कालरूपं ज्वलत्पावकं पापतापादिनाशं बलद्बाणजालं रिपुं मारयन्तं भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वम् मुनेर्यज्ञसंरक्षणायातशस्त्रं शरेणारिसङ्घान् दृढं वारयन्तं पदताभयं प्रेमपीयूषदृष्ट्यं भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वम् पदस्पर्शमात्रेण शब्दामहल्यं शिलिं प्रभुं दीनबन्धुं परं तत्त्वमेकं भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वम् करे लग्नमात्रेण शार्वं महान्त्रं विनादं विनायाशमाभञ्जयन्तं प्रदीप्ताननं शक्तिसीतासहायं भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वम् विदेशं समाश्रित्य तातस्य तीव्रम् अरण्यं प्रयान्तं ससेतं सशेषं प्रपन्नातिहं कान्तमानन्दरूपं भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वम् नवादित्यशङ्काशमारण्यवासं सुधाधाम सौम्याति सौम्यं प्रसन्नं वनस्थान्मुनीन्द्रा सदा पालयन्तं भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वम् सतां रक्षकं सत्यसन्धं शरण्यं दशाशोग्रलं केशनाशं वरेण्यं मुनिध्यानगम्यं विभुं व्याप्तमीशं भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वम् भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वं भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वं भजे रामचन्द्रं जगत्सारतत्त्वम् रामस्तोत्रमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतः पुमान् अभीष्टं लभते शीघ्रं रामचन्द्र प्रसादतः
So I'm playing the next video file that I have with me. These are bhajans done.
Just 1 minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Shantama,
Yeah.
you want to just say maybe in 1 or 2 lines very quickly about the composer? I mean the lyric.
Sure. The first photo picture is he is now he has got a samadhi. He is the Rishikesh Ashram Maharaj Shankaracharya of Tarakeshwar Mutt in Kolkata. He is a Shankaracharya, this holiness. So he has written, composed n number of shlokas on. Especially he is a devotee of bhakta of Puri Jagannath. I have sung his shlokas around, I think, at least 25 shlokas of him, written by him in Puri Jagannath venue. So one of this is this one. Here in this shloka, the Rama is depicted first as a Nirguna Swarupa, that is Ajam, Nirvikalpam, Nirakaram, Ekam. All the attributes of the Nirguna Swarupa comes in. Vikarahinam, it doesn't take the changes as a Jiva takes. All no changes at all. He is Satyam and all that. In the other, of course, you might have learnt it. Yes. All of that are very easy. Yes. And in Shloka is set in Bhujanga Prayatashtaka meter. That is very important. And it was set to Hindola Raga, which is Malkaun's equivalent of Hindustani music. And I really revere this great Mahan, who gave me the opportunity to set music to so many, at least hundreds. Most of them are in my YouTube channel. Most of I had his blessings, so that's the only thing I can give.
Yes, if you can just maybe add your YouTube channel in the chat box, just in case anybody is interested.
Do it for this thing because my mobile is not working. This is a
Okay,
bad.
all right, that's fine. That's fine. If anybody asks, we'll send it. We have that with us, so yes. Yes.
I mean, ISCD, I will upload.
Yes. There are
Thank you.
lots of her music on her YouTube channel. Yes, thank you. There's another message from Suhas on the chat. Another thing on a video he had done on passage from Ramcharitmanas, where Ram and Sita are looking for a place to build their home, and how Rishi Valmiki advises, you are looking for a place to build home, you have a home in every heart. So, but it's just so beautiful how Tulsidas ji describes, and Lata Mangeshkar had sung that. So he took that and made a video on that. So that link is there for anyone who is interested. So now we come to the conclusion, and Narendra ji, bring us to the Ram Nam Japa through that video.
Yeah, actually, this is yesterday we had Jayashree ji and Shubhaji from Creative School. So this chanting of Ram Nam has been done by the students of Creative School. That was, I think, after those sweet voices singing together, I mean, our hearts are full. Nothing more is required, and we are well past our time.
Yes.
So, Beloo, if you want to have some concluding remarks.
No remarks. Just let's stay with this feeling and let this Ram Navami be a reminder. What Chitra said, na, man se Ravan jo nikale Ram, uske man mein hai. So let's all stay with that thought. And I really want to thank everyone who's stuck around with us, half an hour beyond that. But Ram Katha hai hi aisi. You can't keep your that. So thank you so much. Thank you, Viji. Thank you, Biswajit ji, and Purna Chandra Patra ji, and Vijay. And Bijoy, of course. Bijoy has been ever since with us. So thank you so much, Shantama and Biswajita, everyone.
Thank you very
So, Jai Shri Ram. And we'll announce whenever our next online satsang is. So stay connected. Namaste.